All over the world, in China, Italy, the United States and Australia, many more men than women are dying from COVID-19. In Italy and China, deaths of men are more than double those of women. In New York City, men constitute about 61% of patients who die. Australia is shaping up to have similar results, though here it's mostly in the 70 to 79 and 80 to 89 age groups. Why? Is it genes, hormones, the immune system, or behavior that makes men more susceptible to the disease? Scientists consider it as an interaction of all of these factors, and it isn't unique to the SARS-CoV-2 virus. The different response of men and women is typical of many diseases in many mammals. One major variable in severity of COVID-19 is age. But this can't explain the sex bias seen globally, because the increased male fatality rate is the same in each age group from 30 to 90 plus. Women also live on average 6 years longer than men, so there are more elderly women than men in the vulnerable population. The other major factor is the presence of chronic diseases, particularly heart disease, diabetes and cancer. These are all more common in men than women, which might account for some of the bias. But then we must ask why men are more vulnerable to the diseases that put them at greater risk of COVID-19. Here are the reasons what scientists think may be the reason for such high fatality in men. Number 1, men and women are biologically different. Men and women differ in their sex chromosomes and the genes that lie on them. Women have 2 copies of a mid-sized chromosome, called the X. Men have only a single X chromosome and a small Y chromosome that contains few genes. Number 2, the Y chromosome and hormones. The Y chromosome contains hardly any genes other than SRY, but it is full of repetitive sequences, junk DNA. Men are also disadvantaged by their low levels of estrogen, which protects women from many diseases, including heart disease. Male hormones also influence behavior. Testosterone levels have been credited with major differences between men and women in risky behaviors such as smoking and drinking too much alcohol, as well as reluctance to heed health advice and to seek medical help. Number 3, difference between smoking rate between men and women. The extreme differences in smoking rate between men and women in China, almost half the men smoke and only 2% of women, may help to account for their very high ratio of male deaths, more than double female. Not only is smoking a severe risk factor for any respiratory disease, but it also causes lung cancer, a further risk factor. Smoking rates are lower and not as sex-biased in many other countries, so risky behavior can't by itself explain the sex difference in COVID-19 deaths. Maybe sex chromosomes have other effects. Number 4, sex differences in diseases, the big picture. Sex differences in the frequency, severity and treatment efficacy for many diseases were pointed out long ago. COVID-19 is part of a larger pattern in which males lose out at every age. This isn't just humans, it is true of most mammals. It's suggested that male mammals spread their genes by winning competitions for mates, hence hormone control of risky behavior as a plus for men. It's also suggested female mammals are selected for traits that enhance their ability to care for young, hence their stronger immune system. This made sense for most mammals through the ages. So the sex bias in COVID-19 deaths is part of a much larger picture, and a very much older picture, of sex differences in genes, chromosomes and hormones that lead to very different responses to all sorts of disease, including COVID-19.